I didn't let my kids loot my brother's house to prove my point. My brother Kevin died suddenly last month at 34 from a heart attack. No warning, just gone. We weren't super close, but we talked maybe once a week and saw each other at family stuff. Nothing dramatic, just regular sibling distance. The thing is, Kevin was one of those guys who collected everything. His house looked like a museum mixed with a garage sale. Vintage video games, comic books, old band t-shirts, records, tools, camping gear, kitchen gadgets he never used. You name it, he probably had 3 of them. When our parents asked me to help clean out his place, I figured it would take a weekend. I was so wrong. Room after room of stuff, most of it actually worth something. The retro gaming collection alone was probably worth 10 grand. His vinyl records were insane, and some of the comic books looked like they came straight from the store. My kids are 15 and 13, and they've been saving up for months to buy a gaming setup. When they saw Kevin's stuff, their eyes went huge. My daughter Becca whispered to me, "Dad, can we keep some of this? Uncle Kevin would want us to have it, right?" My son Jake was already eyeing this mint-condition skateboard deck from the 90s. "This one's probably worth like $500. Uncle Kevin wouldn't care if we took a few things." Here's where it gets messy. My parents had already decided everything valuable was going to be sold, and the money split between me and my sister Emma. Fair enough. But Emma showed up with her husband and 2 kids, and they immediately started cherry-picking the best stuff. Emma's husband Mark was literally walking around with a notebook, writing down serial numbers on electronics. Her kids grabbed handfuls of Pokemon cards and action figures. When I told them to slow down, Emma got defensive. "Kevin would want the kids to have something to remember him by," she said, loading a box with his entire collection of first edition Stephen King books. Meanwhile, my kids were standing there watching their cousins take whatever they wanted. Becca looked at me and said, "Why can't we do that too? It's not fair." That's when I made the call that probably made me look like the worst dad ever. I told my kids no, not because I'm some rule-following robot, but because I wanted them to understand something important. "Your uncle worked his whole life to collect this stuff," I explained while Emma's family continued their shopping spree. "He didn't just grab things because he could. He earned the money, researched what he wanted, and took care of it. If you want something like this, you do it the right way." Jake got mad. "But they're taking everything. Why do we have to be the only ones who don't get anything?" Emma overheard and smirked. "Some people are just more sentimental than others, I guess." That comment made my blood boil, but I kept my mouth shut. Instead, I took my kids outside and told them the real story. Kevin had always been the responsible one. While Emma and I were blowing our money on stupid stuff as teenagers, Kevin was saving every birthday dollar and working part-time jobs to buy one really good thing instead of 10 cheap things. He told me once that he'd rather have one perfect guitar than 5 okay ones. I said, "That's why his stuff is worth so much. He didn't just buy things, he invested in quality." My kids were still upset, but something clicked when I suggested we go to the gaming store that weekend. Not to buy everything they wanted, but to research what they actually needed for their setup. We spent 3 hours there, talking to employees, comparing prices, reading reviews. Becca realized the gaming chair she thought she wanted was actually uncomfortable after sitting in it for 10 minutes. Jake discovered that the expensive gaming keyboard wasn't worth twice as much as the mid-range one that felt better to type on. The next week, they both got part-time jobs. Becca started walking dogs in our neighborhood, and Jake began mowing lawns. Instead of asking me for money every time they wanted something, they started saving up and researching their purchases. 3 months later, they had enough for a decent gaming setup. Nothing fancy, but everything they bought was exactly what they wanted after weeks of research. They took better care of it than any expensive gift I'd ever bought them. Emma sold Kevin's collection for $23,000. After splitting it 3 ways with our parents, she bought her kids a bunch of stuff they played with for maybe a month before getting bored.